She slapped me, hard enough that the sound echoed louder than the music. I felt my cheeks sting, then the wet splash of red wine pouring down my dress. Gasps spread across the ballroom like wildfire. And when I turned, my husband wasn't at my side. He was behind her, behind his sister, nodding, justifying my humiliation. That was the moment the air froze. That was the moment the room turned against me. But I didn't cry. I didn't shout. I stood still, wine dripping from silk, makeup streaked under the chandeliers, and watched them laugh. My husband, his sister, the bride. And then the microphone squealed, and the groom cleared his throat. I met her 5 years ago, my sister-in-law, the golden one. Perfect hair, perfect smile, perfect lies. She played sweet at first, but I learned quickly that her kindness had conditions. She thrived on control, and I, naive, eager to fit into their family, was an easy target. At every gathering, she'd test my boundaries. A comment about my dress being too much. A smirk when she asked if I planned to actually keep a job after marriage. I smiled through it, convinced she'd come around. And my husband, he always said the same thing. That's just how she is. Don't take it personally. But I did. Every jab sank deeper. The cracks started showing after our engagement. I noticed her name glowing on his phone at midnight. His laughter in the other room hushed when I entered. She just needs wedding advice, he said. But no woman calls her brother at 1 a.m. to talk about flowers. Still, I stayed quiet. I gathered my proof like a soldier counting weapons. Screenshots of texts, voice recordings, photos. Small pieces, each one sharpening my resolve. I knew she hated me. I just didn't know how far she'd go. The night of her wedding, I dressed with intention. A simple gown, nothing that would outshine. Neutral makeup, a smile rehearsed in the mirror. I promised myself I'd endure her final performance. Then came the slap, the whine, the silence that followed. And my husband, my partner, my vow, stood there defending her. I remember looking at him and thinking, "You're not mine anymore. You never were." That's when I let go of dignity, of hope. I held on to something sharper. Revenge. The plan wasn't mine alone. That's the part nobody knew. The groom had reached out to me weeks before. He'd found things, messages, whispers, hints of betrayal. He needed confirmation. I gave him more than that. I gave him evidence. Every screenshot, every call log, every secret meeting between his bride and my husband. Two families tangled in deceit. One stage, one perfect day to burn it all down. So when he took the microphone, I already knew what was coming. The crowd went still. The bride, flushed and laughing, turned toward him. My husband's hand rested on her shoulder like they'd won, like I was nothing. Then the groom's voice cut through the room. Steady, cold. I can't marry a woman who's been sleeping with her brother-in-law. The words detonated. Gasps, screams, chairs scraping against polished floors. My sister-in-law froze, her smile cracking. My husband's face drained of color, eyes darting, searching for a way out. I didn't move. I let the world tilt around me while I stood at the center, calm, untouched. The groom played the recordings. Her voice, my husband's voice, the hotel room number, the dates, the laughter. The perfect bride collapsed. The golden family fractured. My husband tried to speak, but every word only buried him deeper. And me? I stood there, wine-stained and smiling. Finally smiling. It wasn't chaos to me, it was justice. Every humiliation she'd thrown at me, every smirk he'd given while defending her, Every lonely night I'd questioned my own sanity. All of it paid in one perfect collapse. They wanted me humiliated. Instead, they were exposed. When the groom walked out, the crowd followed. Nobody clapped. Nobody cheered. The music died. The wedding was over before it began. My husband called after me, begged. His voice cracked in desperation. I didn't stop. I left the ballroom with my head high, my dress stained, but my pride intact. Now, when people ask why I don't wear my wedding ring, I tell them it slipped off. But the truth? I took it off the night I realized what loyalty meant. It meant nothing to him, nothing to her. But to me, it meant everything. So I made them feel the weight of betrayal. And when I close my eyes, I still hear the silence after his confession. The silence of a room watching a kingdom crumble. It wasn't my humiliation, it was theirs, shattered in seconds.